Congressman Jimmy Patronis, thank you so much for being on Bold and Blunt, the video version. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So there are a few issues I want to discuss with you, but first and foremost, your bill, it's Protect Act to repeal Section 230, reeling back legal immunity for big tech. Why did you introduce that, and what's that all about?
Well, and thank you for asking me about it. I really don't think most of America realizes that the Section 230 protections exist. Section 230 is originally established in order to try to give protection and expansion for internet service providers back in the 90s. Well, this has been exploited and been utilized by digital media companies, social media companies, AI companies, and essentially, where it comes and the rubber meets the road with me is with my sons, and I think most parents can relate to the challenges we've got competing with our children and their devices. But where it goes a little bit further is the type of content that is unrestricted available on these devices. Section 230 essentially protects social media companies and digital companies and AI from any type of liability. So I can go to my local billboard company and say, let's buy a billboard to encourage vandalism. They say, I can't do that. I'll get sued. But you can go on a social media platform with no restrictions, use a pseudo name, encourage that exact same thing, and it gets published to the world. So as you see how this content, it's really, to me, it's almost kind of like becoming a digital cartel. You have these predators that exist on the internet using these platforms because they're sticky. These apps are designed to be that way. And then even when you talk and try to be rational with these digital media companies, they give you an angle of how they're trying to curb it, but they're really not. And we need an empowerment with the parents to protect our kids. And this is the genesis of where it comes from. And I'm happy to now be focused on whatever questions you've got specifically to the repeal.
So Senator Rand Paul, it's very interesting. He just came out with a piece in the New York Post, and he was talking about the need to sue, the need to remove the legal immunity that these big tech, these social media companies have. And it was based in part on what you just described, that there is very little accountability when they allow something to be posted that is completely false, and in some instances, maliciously so. So what you're doing is basically addressing this point via legislation, correct?
Correct. And so this would be a states' rights issue. The federal government would get rid of Section 230, and then the states could go and pursue whatever type of investigation, punishment, litigation, fines, however they wanted to deal with it. Just stay in your lane. Here's what I'm wanting to try to do is change the culture of it. You can put whatever content you want. Just know if you're going to allow harm to develop from it. We saw a series of cases all over, and it was called revenge porn. You would have a young couple that were adolescents that truly don't understand life just yet. And through the shaming process, maybe vulnerable pictures will be taken of one or the other. A number of cases come to mind where in Florida, it was with young girls. The boyfriend would post compromising photos on the internet, and then it would compel the young woman to go and commit suicide. We can't allow undeveloped minds unrestricted access to content that they just do not know how to manage yet. Their minds aren't ready to be adults yet, but we're throwing and allowing adult content to go to them through their devices.
And anybody who's interested can go to your congressional website, as I did, and you have the bill, the actual text posted there through a link. I also wanted to bring up a couple of other issues because you have an extensive background in politics in Florida, and now you bring that experience to Capitol Hill. And there are some issues that have happened that directly impact, speak to what you have actually had experience with at the state level. In in Florida, you were once appointed to the Reopen Florida Task Force during the COVID years. And as part of that, you helped businesses fight these frivolous lawsuits that were brought because they refused to comply. Well, it's interesting to me because President Trump, whom you do support, has just formally removed America from the World Health Organization based in part on whose overreach of powers during COVID. What is your response to this administration's removal from who?
Well, to the best of my understanding, there's never been an American who has led the Department of the World Health Organization. I think there's some concerns that we're a huge financial contributor to the World Health Organization, yet we have not had a seat at the table in its leadership. And I still think that America and the world, for that matter, is still recovering in some ways financially, psychologically from what happened in 2020 with COVID, and the challenges that we felt both emotionally, physically, and mentally. And I think the president's just lost track. And you kind of get a look at what the president has doing with his policy around the world right now. He's been hitting a lot of reset buttons. And where we had, in my opinion, 4 years of unrestricted global encroachment on our country's standing under the Biden administration. And I think the president's just trying to hit some reset buttons. And one he started with is the World Health Organization.
And another one, and I know that our time is tight, so we'll have to wrap up with this question. Another one is when he was over in Davos, he made it clear America first. And you in Florida in 2017, you were appointed chief financial officer for Florida. As part of that, you fought ESG, environmental, government, social agendas, as put forth by BlackRock. And it's interesting to me, if you look at the World Economic Forum, who leads the WEF right now is Larry Fink of BlackRock.
Sure.
I wonder if you have any insights into where this is going to lead in terms of WEF influences in America now.
Well, I think a lot of the DEI encroachment we saw in corporate America was driven by, those powers that were able to influence the SEC, influence the White House to advocate for these types of policies. At the end of the day, all I was advocating for is the best return on investment for the retirees, the firefighters, the police officers, and the state of Florida's retirement system. As I started to look at these policies, when I started comparing the funds we were investing in our treasury, I thought there's better performers out there that aren't as neck deep in these type of policies. Let's hit the reset button. Let's move away from those. Let's invest our dollars directly. As I would touch different boards of directors, corporate councils, you name them, they were so grateful. I said, Jimmy, thank you for leading on this, because we don't know what the hell to do with ESG. Some places we got it in our HR, some places in our governmental affairs, some places in our general counsel's office, but it's this mess that we've inherited because we're told we have to embrace it. And you sometimes don't have the best and brightest promoted because of these environmental and social and governance policies that were being shoved down our throats, and corporate America had to embrace it. So again, we pushed back. My years when I was at Florida and when I left the state of Florida in the best fiscal health that's ever been in its history. So I mean, I'm a big believer. I'm a small business guy. I'm a for-profit guy. I like to take care of settling debt and leaving prosperity in my wake.
Congressman Jimmy Patronis, I want to thank you so much for your time and for your work on behalf of America. Thank you.